I wanted to make this video for a long time. It's about the defense of Mr. Penis, aka Lorne Armstrong. He still believes to this day, I believe, in that little cornfield brain, that the reason he stole $30,000 from an elderly woman, moved to Nashville, and ended up trying to diddle a kid is because of macaroni and cheese, deviled eggs, and meatballs. If you don't know the history, you probably wouldn't be watching this video unless you did. This guy claims that for 5 years he was treated poorly by his siblings. He did some work on their house and let them borrow some money. They promised him food, and he never got it. And he said it was one of the most disgusting examples of how he was treated and why he did the things he did. The most common thing he says, it's because I couldn't say no. I'm going to tell you why he says that. I'm not a practicing psych, but I do have my degree, and I do have friends that I graduated with that are much younger than me, probably much smarter. Here's why. In therapy sessions or discussions or just venting sessions, you hear bits and pieces of the entire story. Now, what Lorne did, I guarantee you, was talk about his siblings, probably started crying, and he said, I gave them money and they treated me badly. Now this right here, this is the point where the therapist probably said, Lorne, you need to learn how to say no to these people. That's all he needed. That's all he needed. And it became personal with him. Sorry, Michael Jordan reference. But he hears that in his head and he stops. Because a narcissist with bipolar 2, probably a few more mental disorders, and the fact that he has the IQ of someone probably just above special needs. And I'm not talking about ADHD, and I'm not talking about ODD, and I'm not talking about any of that. I'm talking about someone who would require extra care and special education. Lorne stopped right there because in his head, oh, that's why I did it. Because I was treated poorly, I couldn't think straight, my mind wasn't in the right place at the time. That's no longer an excuse, Mr. Penis. Because right after he says it's because I couldn't say no, which was in reference to giving money to his siblings, he goes into that whole I couldn't think straight. And then you read the chat and you see for yourself, oh my God, every conversation started at one point. No matter what she said, it went to his spank bank every time. Being treated poorly by your siblings doesn't make you attracted to children, Lorne. It also doesn't make you ask them how many hairs they have. It doesn't make you ask them, after they tell you they had a nice day, if they're anxious to touch your penis. It doesn't make you try to teach them how to masturbate. I highly recommend going to the Great Babs Beast channel, and I recommend that you listen to her read the chat log. She has the same disgust that I do, and the same questions. And it's pathetic and embarrassing. Lorne will never take responsibility for his actions to this day in his 50s about something that happened in the mid to late 2000s. He has never taken true responsibility. And he never will. Because his screaming, yelling, and drinking is somebody else's fault. His jealousy, his rage are somebody else's fault. That has to be his reality. Because if he has to think that he can never get a real woman, I firmly believe he's a virgin. And I'm going to make a video proving that. If he has to believe that his life is nothing more than wearing his stupid Bluetooth headset, counting the hours, memorizing what time his catfish is doing something, accusing and blaming, and being insecure, then his life will crumble. He has his mom who doesn't like him. He has Roy who uses him. He has Tony and Winnie who are definitely using him, and probably the only people who can stand him. That's what he does all day. He has nothing else, because when you listen to him talk about his day, he talks about moving dirt. He talks about his headset being low on charge. He talks about he couldn't find his headset. He doesn't even watch television. He doesn't have any hobbies. He doesn't do anything. He is afraid to do anything because if he steps away from his Bluetooth, if he doesn't focus solely on the phone, he may miss that catfish calling, and he may miss the opportunity to step into that fantasy world. Well, the fantasy world is also why our dude decides he's going to blame everything on everybody else. And the whole I couldn't say no was something the therapist probably mentioned. He latched onto, and he said, oh, well, this is the reason why I was attracted to a kid and tried to diddle her. And it's pathetic. And that's why he says that he couldn't say no. So, when you hear him say that, that is most definitely what happened. I'm going to be making more in-depth videos, but I just wanted to put this out there while I was driving to work, because quite honestly, we're the only people back not working from home, and it's causing me to lose my mind. I love you guys. Sean from Middle Grounded. I hate Lorne Armstrong. Listening to his calls makes me rage myself. Please like, subscribe, and share, and I'll talk to you in the next one.